What's happening is the elephant in the room, if you will, is pricing. No seller wants to have a price set in their mind and have a realtor come in and tell them something different, maybe perhaps way different. And it's challenging. Many people will say they want you to be honest, and then when you're honest, they're upset by that. So as a realtor, I want to explain what's going on so you have a greater understanding. And as much as I would love to be in charge of this process because I would set it up to where everybody just makes tons of money on their home, I don't get to be in charge of it. So I am the messenger, and I always say, don't shoot the messenger. I'm here to educate you and guide you so that you can make informed decisions. And it's challenging right now because people feel like they're losing money. And the only way to get the maximum amount of money is to get in front of the bus. These are the things that we're hearing when we talk to sellers now. I don't have to sell. I'm not in a hurry to sell. We can stay put. I understand the market. So sometimes when I start explaining the market, especially those of us who have been around a while, you get it. The real estate market goes up and down. And I certainly don't want to seem like I don't think you get it. What I want you to understand is what's going on in today's market, because I'm in it every single day. And I think it will help you understand the best direction to go when you're selling your home if you can give me the time to explain what's happening. Sometimes people say we can wait. I don't want to give it away. We really don't have to sell. We can wait until next year. Well, by next year, it could be, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. Right now, what I see is the market is going down. That's what's happening. And it went down very quickly. What happened was, and I've seen this before, September, roughly first part of September 2007, the exact same thing happened. So I've been through this before, and I've navigated the aftermath, if you will. I never want to scare anybody and say, oh, the market's going to tank like it did. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to do. All I can tell you is what it's doing right now. And we can navigate that to the best of our ability. I'm here to be of service to you. I'm here to educate you and guide you so that you can make the decision. If you sit until next year, number one, your home is going to be stagnant. It's going to be, people are not going to want to see that home again. They're going to think something's wrong with it. It's been on the market a long time. So I don't recommend that. If you're going to do that, then just leave it off the market and wait until next year. Don't park it at a high price and wait. That doesn't make sense. When I talk about the bus, this is what has happened. So when the market was going up, I would say, well, you need to price it at 800, and they'd say, well, I want to price it at 850. We can do that because the bus is going up the mountain, right? It's going up. So if you price it at 850 and you're at 800, more than likely you're going to get under contract because that's the way the market is headed. And then, that 850, the next guy wants to price it at 9. When I tell him 850 and the market's going up, and he gets it. He gets it because he priced above market value and that market's going up. On June, really the first part of June to 2022, the market completely shifted. I saw it instantly. We had, 5 or 6 listings, and we saw the phone just basically really, really slowed. Hardly any showing requests. We went from showing it to 27 people over the weekend to having 3 showings over the weekend. Completely shifted. The agents that were putting homes under contract were inexperienced because they were only selling maybe 5 or 6 homes a year. And those homes they weren't seeing that shift because they weren't selling enough homes to see it. And that's not to throw anyone under the bus, so to speak. It's just what I saw happening. Every single one of them that went under contract was with an inexperienced agent. So those buyers bought at the very peak. They bought right here at the peak of the market. That was in June. So we had some closings in July. We had some closings in August because of that. Everything has drastically changed. Now the bus, aka the market, is always moving, and we navigate it. Since 2016, there's been a 29% increase. In August alone, there was an 8% decrease. That's huge. That is huge, huge. So the sellers that were listening to us and, getting in front of the bus with their pricing, those are the ones that sold. The way we differentiate it between a seller's market and a buyer's market is if the home is priced correctly and it takes 6 months or less to sell, it's a seller's market. If it's a strong seller's market, it'll be like what we had prior to June. We'll have offers over the weekend, throwing out appraisals, waiving inspections, like all these crazy things that we don't necessarily love, just to get somebody into a house. If it is more of a normalized, which is what we're in now we're in September, 1st of October today, and the homes take 6 months or more to sell, we're in a buyer's market. So we are currently in a very, almost a normalized market, but it favors the seller just a little bit. There's a thing online you can go to, it's called the Cromford Report, and they are really the experts on navigating data for real estate in Arizona. And in January, they have a little gauge on there that shows buyer market, seller market. In January, that was 400%. They had to actually change it because it didn't even go that high, but it was 400% the market favored the sellers. Right now, if you go look at it, it's at about 103. So it's 100 is balanced. 100 is, it doesn't benefit the buyer, it doesn't benefit the seller. And so right now, in June, prior to June, we had very low supply and very high demand. So that's what was making this bus go up the mountain. What's happening now, and really it started about the end of April, but it really, when people were just, there was more listings coming on the market. In June, we had roughly 3,500 listings in our Arizona Regional MLS. That is primarily the entire Phoenix metro area and some of the outlying areas. I mean, we do get some mountain homes and we do get some stuff from Tucson, but primarily it's the Phoenix metro. What happened was when the interest rates went up, the buyers started to back off and the sellers started to panic list. So everybody that had been holding out to get, pricing at the top of the market, everybody that had been holding out listed their home. Today, between June 1st and October 1st, we now have 21,000 listings in our MLS. We went from 3,000 listings to 21,000. Now there's roughly 6,600 homes that closed last month. So that puts you roughly, your pricing better be in the bottom 30% of all homes listed and in the top 30% of condition. Now we do a thing called the absorption rate that we can do on your home, and it will tell you how long in the current market, and if you're priced correctly. Remember, if I tell somebody price it at $750 and they price it at $825, that isn't priced correctly. So if you're still priced too high, this is what happens. You've got your home for sale, you're pricing it at the top of the market. The market moves, it's in front of you. By the time you get your brain wrapped around what we initially told you to price it at, and you price it here, you reduce the price to here where we said it needed to be, the bus has already moved and it's in front of you. So you end up chasing this. Once you reduce your price again and you get in front, you're not in front of the bus. You might think you are because that's where I told you to price it initially. I'll give you an example. If I tell you, right now we have a lot of listings in that 800, price point. If I tell somebody to reduce it to 850 and they reduce it to 875, they're not in front of the bus. They're still behind it. And if they're at 875 and I tell them they need to be at 825, and they priced it at 850, they're still behind the bus. So what ends up happening is they lose money because they chase the bus down. They chase the market down the hill. Now, I don't know how far that bus is going to go. I have no idea. But there's definitely danger in doing little small price reductions. You have to be aggressive if you truly want to get it sold for the most money. I don't know where we'll be in a year. I don't know where we'll be in 6 months. I have an idea. I think the market is going to correct and become more of a buyer's market. And right now, it's the best time for you to get the maximum amount that you can get. And what we've been telling most people is if you look at last year and you look at this year, your home is still worth more than it was last year. So get the money and run. People get in their mind, my home's worth $1 million. And if we say, well, it's worth 800, they're disappointed in that. And in reality, that's the most that home has ever been worth. We've been asking for at least a 10% reduction, which is a lot. And that's to get you in front of that bus. When you price it too high, what happens? The reason we know it's priced too high is because we get very few to any showings, and it sits. It just sits. So if you want to get your home sold and you want to make the most amount of money, you need to get in front of that bus. Otherwise, you're going to lose money. And as realtors, we're spending our time, we're spending our money. I just wrote a check yesterday for a video, $950. That doesn't include aerial, photos. That doesn't include the online advertising. It doesn't include our syndication. It doesn't include our website. It doesn't include any of that. And we invest time, energy, and money. I have a full-time marketing person that works on your video, so I pay her 40 hours a week. And we end up losing money if it's a bad investment. So it's very challenging if a seller does not want to price correctly for me to be super motivated to, drop $3,500 into your home. Or it just doesn't make sense for me because now it's a bad investment. It's like we want to do the best job we can, and we really need to be a team on that and use strategy as opposed to just dropping prices and random numbers and things like that. And we ask you to trust us. We ask you to trust us. I've always hated that because it sounds really used car, so trust me, trust me. In reality, when you pick your realtor, they are your trusted advisor. And, I'm willing to do whatever kind of marketing you want if you want to write the check. If you're confident your home will sell that high, then you write the check and I'll reimburse you at closing. And that's kind of what we have started to do now because it's challenging to navigate. And the other thing is, if the absorption rate is 6 months on your home, it's going to take 5 or 6 months for your home to sell, maybe longer. And you only want to give me a few months because that's going on now too. The sellers are like, well, I'll give you 3 months. That should be long enough to get it sold. Or I'll give you 4 months or, whatever. They're shorter time frames. That makes it challenging as well because I don't generate that. I don't generate that time frame. It's generated by the market. So I wanted to explain some of these things we've been explaining these to all of our sellers. Our questions are you willing to trust us? Are you willing to listen to guidance? Are you motivated to get your home sold? Because when people say things like, well, we don't need to sell, we can wait it out, those aren't motivated. That's not motivated. And that's not commitment. So, and then, I put what's your favorite color just because it's so serious. It's so serious. And we enjoy working with people. We want to give you sound guidance. I've been doing this a very, very long time. And we want to have fun with this with you and not have it be so grueling. And the resistance to what doesn't work. It just doesn't work. We go through, the sellers have responsibility. Most of the time, this isn't a problem. We want people to provide reasonable access, times to show. Sometimes we have people that don't want to let anybody see the house. Well, you're not going to get your home sold if nobody can get in? Not in this market. Other markets, yes, people were putting in offers sight unseen. There was certain brokerages that wouldn't even let you see them until you had an offer. We want you to maintain your homeowner's insurance. We want you to remove your valuables, any guns, medications, anything like that. Understand that agents may be taking photos or videos. So if you have, your Rembrandt, or you have some kind of piece of art that is valuable, put it away. Safeguard those things. Safeguard your personal information. It's during tax season. I've seen people have their stuff spread out all over their desk, and social security cards, and W-2s and all. With the iPhone, anybody can take a picture of your information, and we want you to safeguard those things. If you have hidden video in your home, we ask that you let people know. It is definitely recommended. And then disclose all material latent defects. What does that mean? That means anything that a buyer might consider not buying your home over. If you had a flood, if you have a crack in your pool, if you have a bad roof, if you had your roof repaired, if you had a monsoon do damage to your home and you used your insurance, you'd want to disclose those things. Sewer, septic, tax judgment, or other types of liens. If you've had termites in the past and you've treated them, or there's damage. We went into a house the other day that had all the wood flooring around the edges had been eaten. Any updates you want to constantly do on those seller property disclosures. And these are things we walk you through. There's also other disclosures. I'm not going to go into that right now. If you have solar, you definitely want to disclose that. And then we want to go through our responsibilities. So your responsibility is cleaning, maintaining, updating the condition of your home, the ease of showings, strategy input. We want to hear your strategy. What do you think? And just because we discuss something doesn't mean it has to happen. It's when you strategize, it's a mastermind. So we want to mastermind with you and come up with solutions and ideas. Communication, honesty. We want you to be honest with us, just like you want us to be honest with you. And then we follow fair housing laws, and our sellers do as well. Otherwise, we cannot work with you. Our job and our responsibilities are marketing, exposing your home to the masses, taking stellar pictures, video, aerial, whatever your home calls for. We want to give it the best representation that we can to the public. Scheduling showings, following up with those showings, negotiations, strategy input. Again, it's that mastermind. Our fiduciary duties, which we went over with you when we took your listing: confidentiality, obedience, loyalty, disclosure, reasonable care and accounting. Communication, we want to let you know what's going on, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then honesty, and also fair housing. So most people say they want honesty until I'm honest, and then they don't want it. So, I always bring that up front, because if that is something that you're not open to, I'm probably not your girl. I'm very direct. It's and I will deliver the heavy load if I need to, because that's how you're going to make the best decision. I mean, who would go to a surgeon and have a heart issue and the surgeon goes, "Oh, you're fine, you'll be fine. Let's just wait it out." I mean, that's just not how life works. The supply and demand is what drives price. Of course, there's location, condition, but it really comes down to supply and demand. In Phoenix, if you think about, you have the last bottle of water or maybe you have the last case in July, that water is going to be worth millions. It's going to be worth much, much more. Once you can buy water at every corner store, every gas station, every grocery store, they give it away free at McDonald's, then that water is going to be worth about 99 cents a bottle. And that's what we've got going on in real estate. It's always supply and demand. Now, what do sellers think Where do they go once we start asking them for a price drop? They go to, well, you need to do more marketing, right? More marketing. I can tell you, no amount of marketing is going to sell an overpriced home. It's just not going to happen. I can drop monkeys from helicopters. I can, get the little tube guy out there dancing. We can have clowns juggling. We can have open houses until the cows come home. And if you're overpriced, it's not going to sell. Now, keep in mind, if your absorption rate is 5 months, it's going to take time. It's not going to sell overnight. It's just not in this market. And so we don't always recommend a price drop. That's only if we're not getting any showings or we're not getting any offers. Then we're going to start asking for a price drop, because if we don't get anybody through your home, it's not going to sell. Now, I made this slideshow early on, so current days on the market now, it's right around 4 months. So this would be a much bigger number, and this would be a much bigger number. Okay. Whoops. So again, going back to the sellers sometimes they want to rewrite my verbiage. They don't like the way that, reads. Our verbiage that we write in the MLS is very strategic. The first 800 characters are Google friendly. If you go to Zillow, they're going to grab tags. There's going to be words that we put in there. If you have a horse property, we want to say horse property, equine estate. We want to talk about the acreage size, maybe call it an acreage. We want to talk about riding and different location, different things that are close to you. We may name out restaurants. We may say the Keg, Chipotle. We may do some of those things because those things become Google friendly and drive traffic back to your listing. If the seller goes in and rewrites our marketing, they remove a lot of that. And of course, you have the final approval on what's written about your home, and it goes back to that trust issue. And it's sometimes what happens is the seller doesn't want to drop the price, so they start looking at things that could be wrong, that they need to change, and it really doesn't work. We would ask respectfully that sellers stay in their lane, take care of the condition, do your repairs. If your home needs upgrades, do that. Do what you can do in your lane and allow us to do what we do as the experts in our lane. I rotate words on the MLS. I rotate photos on a regular basis. This keeps them on top of there's 3 ways that listings are sorted on Realtor websites. It's through an IDX, which stands for Internet Data Exchange. And what it does is it allows realtors to pull from the MLS and put all the listings on their website. And there's 3 ways you can sort. You can sort high to low, low to high, or you can sort by last or recent changed. That's why we rotate words and photos on your listing, because most realtors will have it as recent changes, because otherwise you go to their website, it allows you to show 10, it depends, there's 2 different ones, 10 to 25 homes. And if you start at 13 million, people are going to get really annoyed at your website, because if they're looking for a $600,000 house, they have to go through 15 pages to get to the $600,000 houses. So on our site and most sites, it will search by the most recent changes, and then you can go in and add filters on top of that. Sometimes when sellers start to want to rearrange our marketing and change the pictures and do things like that, or add their own pictures, I call it rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. It's like, look, the ship is sinking and you have control of the price. That's the one thing that we need to change, not change a few words in the MLS. That's not going to do it. If anything, you're hurting yourself. So, in conclusion, we want to do strategy sessions. We want to focus on the goal. The goal is to get your home sold. And so if we're not getting showings, I guarantee it's about price. It's about price. Could be about condition. If your home is not in good condition and your price too high, every single home, no matter what the condition or location in the world, will sell when it's priced correctly and exposed to the masses. So if your home isn't getting showings, or it's getting some showings and no offer, then it's not priced correctly for the condition and location. And in our strategy sessions, what we want to look at is the condition. Now, if you have your home in stellar condition, maybe you have a unique home. Maybe you have a smaller home, or it has 2 bedrooms, or it has 4 bedrooms and 1 bath. Those things are, can definitely cause challenges. But again, if they're priced correctly, they will sell. We look at recent sales and pricing, because when we're in the market, we don't see it until 30 days after. So historically, we look at the history. That's why we use appraisals in our process. We're looking at what happened last month, what happened in the last 3 months, what happened in the last 6 months. And we're pricing because we can see if the market's going up or the market's going down. And how easy is it for them to show your home? If you're making it difficult for buyers to show your home, you're turning away buyers. And that one buyer could be your buyer that you said, well, no, they can't come in. Or they can come back on Saturday. Or, people want to see homes when they want to see it. And we do not want you to turn down any buyer in this type of market, because it will harm you. Exposure, the marketing, we do that, and that's something I work on every day. I have a full-time person that works on it. So we take care of that stuff. I hope this has been helpful to explain what is happening in our current market in Phoenix real estate. As I said, in June, we had about 3,500 listings, and we currently have over 21,000 listings. So that is stabilizing our market. If you have any questions or you'd like to schedule a strategy session with us, you can go to askmichelleshelton.com, and at the top you can click on schedule, and it will actually take you right to our scheduling, and you can grab a time that works for you. Thank you so much for taking time to go through this presentation. We value the opportunity to earn your business if we haven't done that already. And if you are a current seller, I hope that this was helpful to you. And we enjoy working with all of our sellers. So please let us know if you'd like to schedule a strategy session to revisit your current pricing. All right, take care. Thank you for spending time listening to me today. Make sure that you go to our website, askmichelleshelton.com, and check out our free buyer and seller workshops at gophoenixrealestate.com/workshops. Thank you.